Whether you are looking to build a new career or kickstart that new idea that you've got,
Microsoft Reactor connects you with the developers and startups that share your goals.
Learn new skills, meet new peers, and discover the latest in technology.
Events are running around the clock, so join us anytime, anywhere.
Reactors are communities to connect. We want you to meet real developers and entrepreneurs just like you. Here you can get skilled up and learn from our product experts in the Microsoft Cloud and in open source. So watch us on demand and share your own perspective as we live stream in communities all around the world.
Hey folks, welcome you all to Microsoft Reactor for yet another session for Introduction to M365 Copilot by Copilot Chronicles. I am Partharu, Events and Program Manager for Microsoft Reactor India, and yes, I welcome you all again. But before we start our today's event, let's go through our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, participate together. So please be respectful of other people's views, understanding their differences. Be kind and considerate in a way we all engage. Yes, we do encourage you all to participate. Please drop all your questions in the chat section and we'll pick it up from there. And now I would like to bring in Jasleen, our speaker for today's session. Hey, hi Jasleen, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be on this platform and interact with such a wonderful audience over here on behalf of a Microsoft Reactor. So just to give
Pleasure to have you.
Yeah. To just give a quick introduction about myself. So, team, my name is Jasleen Singh Bakshi. I'm a technical specialist in Microsoft India, working with the technology known as Modern Workplace. And today we're going to talk about Microsoft-365 Copilot, which is one of our core resource of Modern Workplace, going to suggest you how the Microsoft-365 Copilot is empowering the different industry verticals of the industries, and how this is something which can be a game changer in the future. It is already a game changer, but how it is going to transform the work culture that we're going to discuss today.
Sounds exciting. The floor is all yours.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Path. So let's start with this, the introduction of Microsoft 365 Copilot. So many of you might have used ChatGPT or the LLM language model in the past, right? The same level of power, the same level of infrastructure, the same level of robustness is there with the Copilot. It's only just now it is embedded with your enterprise level of a softwares or the enterprise level of resources. Day in and a day out, we always go ahead and use our emails. We go ahead and use our Teams. We use Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. So today we're going to discuss how this all can be embedded using artificial intelligence, how the artificial intelligence can transform the entire ecosystem. So, more likely, how the Copilot can become your virtual AI assistant, which can empower you in your day in a day out, and then at the end of the day, it can actually save the time and give back the time that you are actually spending in your most of the crucial task every day. So with this particular part, I always start with this very wonderful slide. We say that now Microsoft is committed towards an artificial intelligence, or I would say a responsible AI. With this particular part, we have a multiple rooms of the houses that you can see over here in a circle. All these rooms of the houses are now empowered with an artificial intelligence, or we call it as a Copilot. So Copilot, what exactly is? It's most like a SaaS-based technology which you have to purchase, most like a plug and play thing. Everything and anything you have inside your organization, inside your business, Copilot is going to help you out to transform that entire thing. With this particular part, let's start with the very first section, which is how Copilot is actually different from LLM language model, any public artificial intelligence model which is available. Maybe that could be a ChatGPT, anything else, how the Copilot is different from them. So whenever we actually use a Copilot, we can see that there is a one thing that's common is it's actually use a prompt that we're going to give to them to train themselves. So what exactly that means is sometimes there could be the situation where organizational information is actually getting publicly available via ChatGPT, via LLM languages model that you are utilizing, or there are no extensive data protection models which has been put up on top of it from an enterprise grade of a level. So to make sure that the robustness, the power which ChatGPT or any LLM language model go ahead and give it to you, why not harness that to your enterprise level of a security? Why not harness the power of that solution to your day-to-day tools that you actually go ahead and use, and then build something which would be working in a secure parameter. So with this, we always say that, and everyone in Microsoft is committed towards security. Everyone in Microsoft is committed towards the trust, and we have a famous slogan over here: Microsoft runs on trust. And with that slogan, we say that your data is always going to be your data. We are not going to use any sort of data that your organization has to train our Copilot ecosystem, to train our models that are running, or the algorithms that are running behind the Copilot, and how this can actually be beneficial to you in a secure parameter that I'm going to discuss, that I'm going to explain in our coming slides. So with this particular part, let's start with the Copilot for the Microsoft 365. There are 4 fundamental pillars on which the Copilot for Microsoft 365 is actually built upon. The very first part is a large language model. Day in and day out, all of us are actually going ahead and utilizing it. Maybe as simple as that, if I'm on a vacation trip and I have to understand some of the maybe key points of the destination where I'm exploring into, I can simply go and ask the Copilot, or maybe I can go ahead and ask ChatGPT in a public preview. So it is beautifully going to give me an answer like a tour guide to me. Now the same thing we actually have done and made sure that that is empowered over here to your Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So with this particular part, the next thing along with the large language model is the Microsoft Graph, or your organization data. This is what a game changer in a Copilot is. What exactly your graph or your Microsoft Graph is? Assume that if I search anything on ChatGPT or a LLM language model, what it do is it will go to the web internet, it will search some information over there, and then going to give me a response back in terms of that information. What if I say to you that now that information or that grounding or the indexing part which ChatGPT is doing in the public preview over an internet, that can be done onto your organizational data as well. So that is basically your Microsoft Graph. So that means whatsoever data on which you want the Copilot to go ahead and search on is basically a Microsoft Graph. And then the skin in the game over here is the Microsoft 365 applications. From there, I'm going to give a prompt to my Copilot. The Copilot is embedded in each and everything. It would be there in your Word, it would be there in your Excel, it would be there in your PowerPoint, it would be there even in your Teams as well as Outlook. A simple example for this one is I will simply go ahead to one of my Microsoft 365 application Teams and will ask over here how many Copilot sessions I have done in the past. Now, what exactly the Copilot is going to do along with the LLM language model over there is it is going to do an indexing from my organizational data. With my organizational data further to the data which is relevant to me, which is relevant to Jasleen. So what it is going to do is it is going to check my calendar, it is going to check my meetings that I have done, it is going to check my emails, it is going to check all the documents that are related to the sessions which I have done in the past for the Copilot. So this would be the entire transformational journey of a Copilot, which is going to give us answers back using different Microsoft 365 applications. And then yes, definitely there would be a web browser part also, which is going to come, as well as the web internet part, which is going to give us an answers that are not actually there inside our organization, and we seek an information from an internet or maybe from the public internet part. With this part, let's jump on to the further part where we're going to discuss about the Microsoft 365 Copilot in a deep dive manner. So as many of the organizations are moving towards an artificial intelligence, or many of the organizations are adopting for the tools that are providing an artificial intelligence, how Microsoft is actually different from these, or how exactly Microsoft says that the tool that we are providing to you are actually secure, they are compliant, they are related to your privacy policies, or actually they are built on the responsible AI principle. That's the first and the foremost fundamental thing over here. Whatsoever securities, if you are already a Microsoft 365 user, or you are already utilizing a Microsoft 365 ecosystem, the security that you already have over here on your maybe the storages, cloud storages that you have in terms of OneDrive, in terms of SharePoint Online, in terms of team sites, in terms of the data sharing policies in a B2B or a B2C collaboration part, the same securities or the same compliance policies can be harvested over here. The same can be inherited over here, and the same policies can be utilized to make sure that whenever the Copilot is going to jump into the picture, whenever the Copilot is going to be utilized over here, the same compliance policies are actually getting met, and the same compliance policies are actually getting utilized over there.
Yeah, Jasleen, your slides are a bit frozen, I guess. You need to bring it back to the screen again.
Sure. Let me do that. I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah, you
Wonderful.
need to go to the presentation mode. Yeah, yep.
Wonderful. Okay, so coming back again to the part where we say that the comprehensive approach, that is with the privacy, with the security, with the compliance, as well as the responsible AI. Now, with this part, let me showcase you a beautiful video, an example of what Microsoft 365 can bring into your organization, to your everyday work, and how it is actually transforming the industries vertical from different perspectives. After this, we will definitely going to jump on to a live examples as well, where I'm going to showcase you how the Copilot is going to work with the different Office 365 suite resources.
Straight to the top, never going down, don't wait for the drop. Still this motto, yeah. Brand new bands for the auto. Oh, foot to the ground, full
We don't see the video.
like lotto.
Are you able to see the screen now?
Yeah, we can see the screen, but it in a presentation mode, we don't see the video.
Let me reshare it again. Sorry about this, team. Let me share my entire screen so that it would be more easy. I hope you're able to see the screen now.
Yep.
Wonderful.
You need to select the presentation mode. Yeah.
Is it good? Great.
Straight to the top, never going down, don't wait for the drop. Still this motto, yeah. Brand new bands for the auto. Oh, foot to the ground, full throttle. Great energy for the night like lotto. Y'all talk odds, never this quiet. Life like a Seinfeld plot. All full of songs, all of the bombs. Something like a minefield got. Boom. Get it, tickets running out quick. Bet it, never get it out big. Said it, never had to shout it. They said I couldn't never do it, okay, how's it? Fit a week worth of work in a minute. Machine well oiled, you know how I stay efficient. Do this written, I do this different. Hold up, wait a minute, I ain't finished. Flows the same. Now paved the way, the snakes and fakes are chased out. Back to back. I changed the pace now. Had to stack the cash until the bank's out. Straight to the top, never going down, don't wait for the drop. Microsoft.
So with this particular part, Microsoft 365 Copilot is actually made up of a architectural part which is known as a Copilot system. So whatsoever I have shown to you in this last video is based out of a Copilot system. Now, what exactly a Copilot system is? This is more like a architectural diagram where it will tell you from a technical standpoint how you can make a grounding, how you can ask the Copilot to search on what sort of a data, what resultants you want to get it, how in the back end it is working, and then using this particular architectural diagram, you will get a fair enough of an idea how this can be fit into a multiple levers into the multiple departments, into the multiple engagements across all the industry verticals. So let's see that, and then we will go ahead and see the multiple examples over here as well.
Microsoft-365 Copilot is powered by what we call the Copilot system, a sophisticated processing and orchestration engine. It harnesses the power of three foundational technologies: the Microsoft 365 apps, that's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, and more. The Microsoft Graph, that's all your content and context, your emails, files, meetings, chats, and calendar. And a large language model, or LLM, a creative engine capable of parsing and producing human-readable text. All accessible through natural language. It starts with a prompt from you in an app. Copilot pre-processes the prompt through an approach called grounding. Put simply, grounding improves the quality of the prompt, so you get answers that are relevant and actionable. One of the most important parts of grounding is making a call to the Microsoft Graph to retrieve your business content and context. Copilot combines this user data from the graph with other inputs to improve the prompt. It then sends that modified prompt to the LLM. You may be familiar with what an LLM can do based on your experience with ChatGPT or Bing Chat. Copilot takes the response from the LLM and post-processes it. This post-processing includes additional grounding calls to the graph, responsible AI checks, security, compliance and privacy reviews, and command generation. Finally, Copilot sends a response to the user and commands back to the apps. Copilot iteratively processes and orchestrates these sophisticated services to produce a result that feels like magic.
Great. So this is a high level of an architectural diagram, I would say, of a Microsoft 365 Copilot. And if I start from left hand side to the right hand side, you can see that there are skin in the game over here are the M365 applications from where the prompt will actually going to be start, or the user prompts are going to be started over here. And just take an example maybe of certain data that I want to have as a crux of email, some of the files of my organization, finances that are there in terms of Excel, some of the SOPs that are there of my organization in terms of Word, some of the presentations that I have to go ahead and present to my management team of an organization. What I did is I simply went ahead to the Microsoft Teams, asked the Copilot chat over there, hey chat, Copilot, can you please go ahead and give me a resultant based on a mix-up of all these 4 applications of a particular project where I was working from the past 3 months. What the Copilot is going to do over here is, as soon as the user is going to give a prompt, it is going to modify that prompt in terms of a language which a LLM language can understand. Then post that, LLM language is going to make a grounding as well as the pre-processing and the post-processing over here. What exactly that means over here is, understand it maybe from a context like an index. That's exactly the same over here with the semantic index. Anytime we open up any book, we always go through an index and we see that on which page, what chapter is on, which paragraph we want to actually looking for is on what kind of a page. The same thing is going to happen with the semantic index, where it is going to understand where the data is residing, which all data is relevant as per the prompt that the user have asked, how to compress the answer of that data so that it should be coming in a more robust, unified, or a simplified way for the user, so that they can go ahead and understand. Definitely, there would be some of the cross responses also across questions, cross answers as well, which are going to happen between a user and a Copilot based on the resultant that they wanted to have. But this would be an overall architectural part. This would be an overall processing part or a processing engine that is going to work behind a M365 Copilot. And over here, Microsoft Graph is something which is going to be playing a very, very crucial role. Why? Because this would be the data on which my Copilot is going to run a commands on. This would be the data on which my Copilot is going to do a grounding on. This would be the data on which my Copilot is going to seek the results from. So how beautiful it would be, the things that I'm going to ask today in a public language model or the LLM language model, which are available in a public preview, if I go over there, they search something for me from an internet. Now that is going to be changed, and that is going to be exclusively from my organization, or maybe a blend of both, maybe from a public internet, or maybe from my organization, or maybe the both of that. So this is the power of Microsoft 365 Copilot that we have built up upon all the M365 applications that the organizations are utilizing today. Now, with this part, a lot of things that comes to our mind whenever we actually think of Copilot, how the Copilot is going to transfer or empower every end user that is residing in any of the organization. So multiple departments are there inside every organization. Even if we talk about a manufacturing organization, we are talking about an ITAS organization, we're talking about a BFSI organization, or maybe a health or a pharmaceutical organization. Everyone has a marketing team. They do have a sales team. They do have a customer services. They have finance. They have operations, and then going into the HR, who is managing every one of them, and then hiring other talent or the resources which are required for my organization. Every department actually deals with a different kind of a problems every day. What if I get something for them which is working for them, which is saving their time, which is making them more efficient, which is making them more productive. And at the end of the day, if they are spending 3 hours on a particular task, they might be doing 2 hours on that task, and then 1 hour we're going to give them back and states, this is a time where you can learn something new. This is a time which your personal assistant Copilot has given you back, that you are actually saving with. So let's start with the very first part on the marketing section. Majority of the teams or majority of the organizations who have the marketing teams, they do a lot of creative processes. They generate the ideas, they generate how to fire up the sales of any organization, how to get a new resources for the organization, how to retain the resources, how to actually make a brand of the organization, how to make a brand image of an organization. So with all that part, they have to start something from the scratch. So whenever someone starts from something from the scratch, it will always a good idea if they can have some base setup at least. So that is where the Copilot is going to come into the picture. It is going to tell them how you can maybe start something from a base, how you can actually go ahead and see something from a base, how you can actually do with the resources every day you are working with. So this is a very first example of a Copilot in a Word, where we are transforming the writing efficiency as well as the creativity of a particular user. And in this example, you can see that the person was actually working on in a real time on a file, and they have to create some of the certain tasks as related to some of the related to some of the processes they are making, some of the ideas they are generating, and very beautifully they have asked the Copilot over here to go ahead and achieve that for them. And what the Copilot has done is it beautifully mended some of the tasks over there, decided the timelines, and then suggested some of the honors as well based on the task which the marketing team is performing on. With this part, another thing of a Copilot here could be, let's assume every day you are dealing with a lot of Word documents, and these Word documents are of maybe 100 pages, 120 pages, 130 pages. Or if maybe I will simply take an example, some of the SOPs that are coming to you, some of the documents which are coming to you for a review part, or maybe as simple as that is some of the documents that are coming to you to check whether the grammar or the writing style is correct as per your organizational policies. Copilot would be your savior over here. You can simply go to the Copilot for the Word, open up the Word document, open the Copilot, and ask a Copilot to do that task for you. Within a few seconds, the Copilot is going to do that. Within that part, the Copilot is going to make sure that everything is done within the seconds. And that actually feels like a magic over here. With this part, let's move on to the next example, which would be there for maybe a sales team. So over here, you can see that sales team in any of the organization actually deal with a lot of emails from their clients. They deal with a lot of meetings, conversations that they are doing. They actually deal with a lot of tools that they are working on in terms of CRM, in terms of ERP, in terms of any other tool where they are managing their entire organizational sales. What if I say to you that whenever any email is coming to you in an Outlook, you can actually go ahead and summarize that email, and based on that email, whenever you are actually scheduling a meeting with your customers, with your partners, with your maybe inside teams, You don't need to now take a meeting notes manually. Copilot is there to actually take that for you. So this is one of the clear example where the Copilot is building up a notes in a real time, and along with that, it is also going to give me a references at which point of a time, what was a discussion that happened. Take an example, someone discussed about closing a very crucial deal, which is high in numbers, that is based on AI, maybe that is based on ChatGPT, based on Microsoft 365. What was the main discussion point over there? So we can simply ask that to the Copilot, and it is going to give me even a reference as well. At what point of a time, at what time, who has actually went ahead and discussed that. With this particular part, we also going to give an add-ons that are going to be tightly intact with the Outlook client. Take an example, if someone is calling to me and I'm getting a lead from that. A very simple example of a sales industry. We get a lead, we create that as an opportunity, then we convert it to a customer, and then we deal with them. So this is a process every organization in the sales perform. As soon as you are getting an email or a call from someone, earlier you have to go to your maybe customer relationship management tool or the entity relationship management tool, and you have to feed the information over there. But that would not be the case with the Copilot now. Your AI assistant is going to fetch out all that information by the on. So the Copilot for the sales that will be tightly integrated with the CRM tool in the Outlook is now going to get that. It is going to automatically fetch out the data and feed that in your CRM system, so that whenever next time you're going to work on that opportunity, the data is there. A simple example, maybe if I have to explain this in a layman language, let's say Jasleen is calling you and he's inquiring about Microsoft 365. You just have to, while calling, he also sent out an email to you with all the details of his contacts, requirements, and all that. You just simply need to tap on Jasleen name and then say that this is my contact for this particular opportunity, add it in. You don't need to do anything manually. Everything will be automated. All the information will be picked up by the CRM Outlook tool using this information. So with this particular part, let's jump on to the next example, which is a customer service. And this is a great example of a Copilot in Teams also. Many a time what happens is, we have to stay organized, or we have to top on all the meetings, the calls, or whatsoever discussions that are happening in a day-to-day part. Or maybe something that is related more towards the meetings that we are actually doing in a day-to-day. So with this particular part, what the Copilot in the Teams can do is, if we are doing a live meeting, the very first thing over there is, if I want to have a transcription of that meeting ready for me, I can do that. The Copilot is going to take care of it. Along with that, if I want to, let's say there are multiple meetings that are happening, and as working with the Microsoft team on a technical role, I usually get a lot of overlap meetings. So it's not possible for me as a human to be up to date with a lot of meetings at a same point of a time, or be up to date with all the meetings at one single point. What I do is I will say to the Copilot to follow this meeting, and then whenever that meeting starts, if I'm joining it late, let's take an example. There is a meeting which is happening with the leadership team, and we are discussing how to actually present the Copilot 365 to the audience, or maybe to the different verticals of the industries. So in that, if I join the meeting 10 minutes late, what I will do is I will simply go to the Copilot, click on the Copilot link over here, and will ask and give a prompt. What's the latest, or what's the summarization of a meeting so far? What has been discussed that which is relevant for me? Is there anything specific which is more relevant to me, or my name has been discussed? I can give in that prompts. Within a live meeting, it is going to give me that these all are the 4 or 5 points that has been discussed in the past. Next section items are these which would be relevant for you. So a very, very useful tool when you are overlapped with the multiple meetings, when you are when your calendar is actually overbooked with the multiple meetings, how you can actually go ahead and do that. And with this particular part, a lot of the finance teams are actually dealing with the complex data problems, or maybe the complex Excel files that they are solving day in and day out. So they deal with the heavy files. They create some of the formulas in the back end of the Excel, and then do some of the calculation based on that. I'm not really great in the Excel, so in my personal opinion, or in my personal space, whenever I use an Excel, what I do is I always use a Copilot and ask a Copilot to do that complex task for me. Let's assume that I have a sales data that is there from approximately 4 or 5 years, and I have to find out some of the key products that has made a profit of a particular year. From year 1 to year 5, I have to find out on a first year which was my hero product, and then on second, and then third, and consecutively on the fifth. Using a Copilot for an Excel, what I can do is I can simply give a natural language prompt, give the product name on which the data has to be found out. Beautifully, it is going to create a bar graph for me and suggest me that this is the data which you are finding out. And then based on that data, I can present it maybe in a Power BI or in any other tool. So the formulas that I was putting up, the data that I was actually putting up over there before to solve the problems of the finance now that are not existing anymore, I can use the Copilot. I can use the prompts in the Copilot. I can ask a Copilot to do that task for me. And even if there are some complex problems in Excel files which I want to resolve, and I don't know how to resolve that, I can simply ask a Copilot how this can be done. And very beautifully, it is going to help me out with that step-to-step baby steps, that this is the way using which you can go ahead and resolve this. So this is one of the example of an operations plus sales where the person is asking for a forecast of the forecast for the next 4 quarters of a particular product using different numbers, different sales, different formulas, different sheets. So all of this can be done using a Copilot over here. And then many a time what we see is, I don't know how many of you actually have gone ahead and used Microsoft Loop, a very, very powerful tool whenever you are working in a shared projects or in a project tracking part. So with the Loop, we can actually use a Copilot over here. We can define some of these specifications, like over here in this particular example. There are some technical specifications along with the performance requirements that are required to have a project on. We can create that workspace. We can use the tool. We can immediately get some of the ideas from the Copilot. We can define, or we can even set up some of the recommendations as well as the timelines as well in the Loop that will be going to be empowered by the Copilot. So each and everything that we are discussing over here now is empowered and embedded with the artificial intelligence, which can be helpful to you, which can be serving more like a personal AI assistant to you, which will be beneficial. And here is one of an example of a Copilot. Let's take an example. I noted down some of the notes, and then there are some of the pages which I have to go ahead and create, maybe based on my organization, based on the rules which HR team is opening up, based on some sort of resumes which I have to work on. What I can do is I can simply go to the Copilot. This is a particular example of a OneNote where the person is trying to create a organizational information. Now what they are doing over here is they are generating some sort of an ideas. If I'm running out of an idea, simply ask a Copilot to do that for you. Working on that project, defining some of the information about the organization and getting the things done. With this part, let's jump on to the live examples. I think this would be very, very interesting for you to understand how the Copilot actually go ahead and work in each and every part. So starting with this part, Excel is the most exciting thing for everyone, the most demanded thing, the most asked thing by every person who wants to use the Copilot. So let's start with the Excel part over here. So in this particular part, what we are saying is we have to analyze the data, the organizational data based on the quarter business results, and summarize some of the key trends. I simply gave that prompt over here to the Copilot, and then the Copilot is actually going to break down that and then give me the data sets which would be accurate for me and which I have to go ahead and present to my management team. And this is something which is going to also help me out to apply some sort of a label, some sort of a color, some sort of understanding how this entire thing has been made in. So this is one of a clear example about that. I don't know many of time if you ever have created some of the models, but this is a clear example using which you can even be a champ of creating some models as well on the data based on the data sets that you have, based on the data that you want to work on, based on how you want to actually go ahead and present the data. So this is about Microsoft Excel. Now let's jump on to the another component, which is a PowerPoint. Majority of the time, whenever we actually go ahead and create the PowerPoint slides, we have to either deal with the data that is maybe there in Word, maybe it is there in a notepad, or maybe we just have thoughts in our mind. Now what we can go ahead and do is we are empowering PowerPoint, and we are saying that if you have any Word document which is consisting of your data on which the presentation has to be made on, you simply ask the Copilot PowerPoint, hey, here is my data in a Word, go ahead and create a presentation out of it. Very simply, it is going to read that data, whatsoever is there in the Word format, and then create a presentation for you. Similar to that, you can actually come to the PowerPoint in a blank presentation and ask a Copilot to create something for you as well. So this is a clear example for that.
Let's say you're getting ready for your customer pitch meeting. Everyone has had a moment when they wish they could turn their proposal into a customer-ready presentation without having to start from scratch. Now you can. Using just your own words, Copilot can translate Word into PowerPoint. You can also translate PowerPoint into Word. Now you have a professional-looking presentation that you can hone and polish. Let's say you want to add a slide. Give Copilot some quick instructions. There it goes, ready for you to review. So this slide is too wordy. Let's ask Copilot to make it more visual. Give it a few seconds. And check this out. Copilot can even animate the slide. It gives it a professional design treatment in a single click. But it doesn't stop there. Copilot even generates speaker notes for all your slides. It's not only a time saver, it's helping you be a better presenter.
So with this part, now the other example over here is the Copilot in the Word. The similar thing which I showcased to you in the past 2 slides, where we are summarizing the documents, we are generating some of the new ideas, we are creating something from the scratch, we are becoming a pro in that particular resource, in that particular thing that we are utilizing. So in the Copilot in the Word, the similar thing, I'm going to present how you can actually start something from the scratch, how you can actually build something for you, how the Microsoft 365 artificial intelligence and all these things are going to help you out to save the time and to become like a pro.
Copilot in Microsoft 365 can help you unleash creativity at work. Imagine you need to create a rock-solid proposal to win the business, and you don't have time for writer's block. You can use Copilot to draft a proposal based on your customer notes in OneNote, as well as another internal document. Copilot scans the target files and gets to work, quickly generating a first draft with all the key details from the files you provided. Now, let's say you want this to look like your previous proposals. Copilot can give you a draft in the format you typically use. It inserts product images and pulls in relevant visuals from other files. You can include a short summary at the top of the document. And Copilot can make suggestions to strengthen the proposal, like adding an FAQ, which it will generate for you to refine.
With this part, let's see how the Copilot in Outlook basically go ahead and work for you, how the Copilot can actually help you out to be on top of all the emails that you are getting. Imagine you are getting 100 emails every day, and you are coming back from a 10-day long vacation, and there are approximately 500, 600 emails that are piling up on your mailbox. You don't understand which email is important for you, which email you have to reply first. The Copilot in the Outlook is going to be a savior for you. It is going to suggest which all are the emails which are highly important, which you have to have reply without having any sort of a delay. Where are the emails that are least important? Which all are the emails where you just have to maybe look at and then reply based on the importance of that email. So how the Copilot is going to work, let me showcase to you that. And then with this particular part, as all the Copilots that I have showcased to you were able to generate something from the scratch. So with the emails also that could be possible, where the Copilot is going to give you a coaching, how you can go ahead and maybe, reply to an email, how you can actually draft an email, or even at a drafting of an email, you can define what should be the tone of an email, what should be the length of an email, what should be the structure of an email which you are sending out. Maybe it is sending out to you are sending out to your colleague, maybe you are sending out to your partner, to your customer, or maybe to someone who is higher in your organizational level. So let's see on this particular part.
Copilot in Outlook helps you stay on top of email. You have important emails to respond to. Copilot can help you separate the signal from the noise and give you hours of time back. It helps you triage your inbox so you can prioritize the most important emails. And Copilot helps you on the go in Outlook Mobile. It can summarize long email threads. You can draft a reply, use data from an Excel file, and Copilot will generate a reply for you. You can edit it. You can make it more concise, change the writing style, or add more context. Now all that's left to do is review the proposed response and hit send. It's a productivity game changer.
So this is one of my favorite, the Copilot in Teams live meeting. How we can actually make sure that we are using the Teams at the fullest level, how we are coping up with all the missed items, how we are actually getting on top of whatsoever has been discussed in the Teams meetings. So without wasting any time, let me showcase you the Copilot in Microsoft Teams.
Copilot in Teams makes every meeting a productive one. Here, you're in a meeting with your team. You can ask Copilot to summarize what's happened so far. Copilot summarizes who said what and what points were made, capturing the spirit of the discussion. And as the meeting progresses, you can check in on where people stand. You can even ask Copilot what questions are unresolved. It is just amazing to see this happen in real time during a meeting.
And then the one, if we have the meetings that are already recorded and there are some of the recaps on which I have to work on, how Copilot is going to work with you to create some of the MOMs, the meeting notes, understand the transcriptions, how you can actually be more productive with the meeting notes as well.
Imagine you have an appointment that conflicts with your weekly business review. What if you could do both? With Copilot, you can opt to follow a meeting. After the meeting ends, Copilot will summarize what you missed. You'll get a notification in Teams when the recap is ready. This recap will highlight content that was shared, summarize notes, and any action items for you or others whose names were mentioned. You see that one of your customers was discussed, and you want to learn more. You can ask Copilot clarifying questions, and it provides a detailed response. It can tell you why a certain decision was made, and gives you helpful context. You can even ask Copilot what other solutions were considered, and it provides citations from the transcript so you can see where Copilot drew these conclusions. It's a huge time saver.
So with this part, this was about Microsoft 365 Copilot. I assume that there would be a time for some of the questions as well. So Parth, do we have any questions, any comments from the team where we can actually...
It was a very, very great, exciting session. Thank you, Jasleen. Please do drop questions in the comment section and we'll pick it up from there. As of now, Jasleen, we don't have any questions come up.
Great. I think this is one of our best team that is not throwing any question and just listening to whatever we are saying.
Folks, final call to ask questions.
Folks, please feel free to drop a question. There is no wrong question over here. Just let us know if you have anything in your mind. More than happy to answer that for you. We have specifically freed up at least 10 minutes over here to just answer if there is any sort of a question wrong from the viewership.
Meanwhile, I like to share a link which can help you to take the learning further, which is an introduction to the Microsoft Copilot 365.
Yes.
Yep, here we go. So there is a question from Tarun. Jasleen, you there?
Yes, I can see, okay, how we can actually go ahead and use the Copilot in Power BI. So there are different sets of a Copilot. Today we were discussing about a modern workplace Copilot. In a visualization tab also there is a Copilot which is going to help you out over here. So in a Power BI, if there are some sort of a reports which you are working on, there are some sort of a visualization tools which you are utilizing, or some visualization patterns which you have to go ahead and follow. Copilot can actually help you out to craft that for you. It can help you out to understand that in a deep manner and how you can actually go ahead and project it in your Power BI slides. So yes, the Power BI Copilot as well. There is another question from Sanjeev. I hope, Tarun, I have answered your question. So yes, there is a Power BI Copilot as well. It is with a different technology, but yes, there is a Copilot. Sanjeev, your question is, can this meeting would have been handled by a Copilot? At a partial level, yes, but understand this technology from a standpoint that no technology can actually be more than a human brain. So to start something, it's always a human brain only that has to work on, and then work on the situations, and then give the commands to an artificial intelligence what has to be done over here. Okay, so what's the difference? There is another question that is coming from Vamsi Krishna. The difference you are asking about, what's the difference between a Git Copilot and a Microsoft Copilot? So the Copilot that Microsoft 365 Copilot that we have discussed today is actually a SaaS-based technology, which is for more like a collaboration and productivity. So every day you are using Teams, you are using emails, you are using PowerPoint, you are using Word, Excel. So this Copilot is going to work on that. Whereas on the other part, the Git Copilot, which you are referring to, would be more like going to give you suggestions from the development standpoint, how you can maybe develop some of the products, how the development can be done using the GitHub Copilot, how the programs can be generated, and all that part. So this would be the difference between the two. Yeah. So Vamsi Krishna, again, actually added one of a good question over here for a DevOps, how it will be useful. So there are different sets of a copilots, Vamsi Krishna. If you can refer to the starting of the slide, Microsoft has multiple rooms of the house, and then this in all the resources or all the rooms of the houses of Microsoft ecosystem are now empowered with the artificial intelligence or a Copilot. At some places there are the SaaS-based Copilots which are available. Definitely at the same point of a time, we are also providing you a platform known as a Copilot Studio, where you can come forward, you can create your own kind of a Copilot, and there are publicly plugins available which can be connected to any of the data source, any of the you can say resources, any of the applications which you want to go ahead and use. So it's as per you. If you want to create something of your own, something that is tailored fit as per your organization, we do have space for that as well in terms of Copilot Studio, in terms of generative AI. Yes. Yep.
I think we had some good questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's call for a wrap, Jasleen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, team, for joining this session, and a big thank you to Parth for arranging everything on for this meeting and getting everything done on the time. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Jasleen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.